Hi, Adam. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today. I really appreciate it. How are you and your family doing? I know this end of the school year time can be really busy here at school, and it can also be really busy at home.
Yeah, we are busy. But I can't believe that he's almost done with kindergarten.
I know. This year has really flown by. It's been so wonderful to have Eddie in our class this year, and we're really looking forward to having him next year. I feel like he's just made so much growth academically and socially and emotionally.
Yeah, I've been noticing the same thing at home. It seems like he's making some headway with reading. He even helps me sound out a lot of letters.
That's awesome. I'm so glad that you guys are practicing that at home. That's a really good way to just help build those literacy skills. We've definitely seen his literacy strength at school as well. The other day I was working with him and I realized that he knows all of his letter sounds, which is really fantastic. I think that next year in our focused literacy group, he's really going to take off into reading quite well.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
So yeah, academically he's doing really well. I know that at our mid-year conference we had talked about providing some more opportunities for him outside of school to practice those social emotional skills and form some deeper peer connections. And Eddie told us that he started soccer this spring. How's that going for you guys?
Yeah, it's going really well. I'm immunocompromised, so we were kind of weighing our options about if that was a risk that we were willing to take, but we ended up deciding that it was. So it does seem like it's going really well, but it's hard sometimes to tell if he's paying attention.
Well, I'm really glad that you guys were able to kind of like figure that out and navigate the risk. I know that's something that a lot of families have been struggling with throughout the pandemic, and this seems like a really good option. Could you say some more about what you mean when you say that it's hard to tell if he's paying attention?
Something that I've noticed is that when the coach is giving instruction, he sort of just stands there after everybody takes off to go do the activity. Yeah. He just seems like he's kind of lost.
Yeah, we have noticed that at school too, sometimes during instruction times especially, it seems that he maybe has a hard time remembering instructions and that he just needs like a little bit of extra support getting set up and staying on track during focused academic times. Again, we're seeing that he just has these really strong academic skills. It just maybe seems a little bit hard for him to stay engaged.
So is he not listening? Certainly sometimes at home that seems to be the case.
I really believe that Eddie is doing his best to listen. I think he's trying really hard at it. And I think he also has just this really rich imaginative world. I think about that a lot when I see him playing during recess or discovery time, and he's just like embodying these cars or trucks or planes or whatever it is that he's feeling really passionate about that day. And generally at school when we give instructions, we really try to limit it to about 4 steps at most, just to keep it developmentally appropriate. And we often will ask children to kind of like repeat instructions. So if I say the first step is to grab a pencil and then get your paper, I'll ask students, so who can remind me what the first step was? And it seems like that isn't something that works super well for Eddie, and he can end up at the end of that instruction time still feeling a little bit lost. So we've really been working with him to encourage him to either ask a teacher if he's needing support in figuring out what we're supposed to be doing during these focused academic times, and also asking peers, because that does help build that social and emotional skill and also build some independence for him, which is really important. We're seeing him need just a lot of one-on-one support to complete his academic work, and we're totally willing to do that for him. And we also really, like I said, just want to help him build those independent learning skills, especially as he gets ready to move on to 2nd grade.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like what we're seeing at home. We've noticed he has a hard time getting himself ready, even as our younger daughter, who's 4, is doing just fine at that, actually. Yeah. We noticed that he has a bit more trouble with it.
It's really interesting that you shared that. One thing that I've recommended to families before that's been really helpful when there's a struggle kind of getting ready or just following those routines at home is making a schedule, which I know a lot of folks have. But one thing that we've seen be really helpful with schedule making is to involve Eddie in making the schedule and also to take and print pictures of him doing the steps. So if it's brushing your teeth, like having him write brushing my teeth if he's interested in it, making sure that you're taking a photo of him brushing his teeth and posting that like at his level where he can see it.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. We have one that I made for him, and it doesn't seem to help so much right now, but maybe if he helps, then that could help him be a little more invested.
Yeah, I mean, totally worth a try, right? So you mentioned that you feel concerned about Eddie at home sometimes in regards to his focus and kind of, it sounds like, ability to process verbal instructions. Am I hearing that right? Okay. Is that something you've ever thought about bringing up to your pediatrician or seeking out expert advice on?
Not really. Eddie's always been kind of spacey, and he has a hard time remembering, but he is really smart. So we've kind of figured up until now that he'll just grow out of it. That unfortunately doesn't seem to be happening though as he gets older. What were you meaning by expert advice?
Well, I mean, expert advice can look a lot of different ways, and I just want to start by clarifying that regardless of academic skill and intelligence, like lots of people need support, and it is not reflective at all actually on anyone's academic ability. As far as expert advice goes, it can, like I said, it can really look a lot of different ways. So some folks reach out to their pediatrician for a referral for services or an evaluation, and then other people usually go through the school district for that same evaluation or for services. The school district provides services if they decide a student's eligible at no cost to the family.
Okay.
And our team has really been talking about perhaps seeking out occupational therapy for Eddie. We think that's something that could be really helpful for him. And OT will be able to work with Eddie on his independence and focus, and also share some tools with our teaching team that will make it so that we can support him better.
So is occupational therapy, is it like talk therapy? Because I don't really see how sitting and talking will help him right now.
Occupational therapy can also look a lot of different ways depending on what the goals for the child and family are. Occupational therapists use everyday activities, exercises, play, and other therapies to support kids. As far as I understand, it's like a lot more active than psychotherapy typically is.
Okay, very nice. It certainly sounds like it could be helpful. So how do I get him in to see the OT?
Well, so like I said, there are a few different ways. You can either meet with your pediatrician or you can go the school district route. Yeah, those are the two main choices.
Okay. So I think what we'll probably do is talk to his pediatrician and just go from there.
Oh, I think that's a really great plan. I'm totally happy to support your conversation with your pediatrician too if you want our teaching team to share some insight as to what we're seeing at school. If you want me to share an email or give them a call, I can totally do that.
That would be great.
Okay, awesome. If you can just pass along the contact information, I'll be sure to get that done by Friday. I think this is a really great plan to support Eddie. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, not at the moment. Would we be able to schedule a meeting after his appointment to just check in and see about what the next steps would be? I'm hoping that my wife would be able to make that meeting.
Yeah, totally. Let me know when you have the appointment scheduled, and then we can set up a time for the three of us to meet and discuss next steps.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for meeting with me, Adam. I really appreciate it, and I feel like this is a really great plan to support Eddie.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.